Hey everyone, welcome to the most interesting, or TMI. A show where we talk to interesting people about all the cool things they're doing and their journey so far. Let's talk about money.
Growing up, you see certain people who quote unquote have money. How?
I got my first credit card right before starting university and I cried.
Oh,
We're
at
at
the
the bank.
bank.
And
Oh,
the bank
no.
teller asks, like, should we set her up with a credit card? And my mom's like, yeah. And I'm like,
Had to pay $50,000. I wanted to pay it off as soon as possible.
having money does not mean you know anything about it.
And then I also work at Payless Shoe Store, making $9 an hour. I am at the point where my investment portfolio is almost $200,000. Posted my keys on my page, and I was like, "Oh, guys, I just bought a house. What? We're only 23. How are you able to buy a house?"
I want to talk about your early creative years. You don't watch it?
I don't have to do this, please. You guys are not serious.
Cooking. How does that start? They're like boil water, your hands are like shaking.
Potatoes. I'm just like, did I do it right? This is my dinner. Like, there's no going back.
Yeah.
This has to go on. So like,
Let's talk about sort of the most important thing, which is art.
First thing I wanted to be ever, I think, was a pastor.
A
lot
pastor?
of us, yeah.
Which is you had that shit on basically.
I had that shit on.
You had that shit on and you posted it and they were eating it
It was a
up.
Pyrex Vision shirt.
Oh.
It was a fake Pyrex Vision shirt.
I went on a date one. I hope he doesn't listen to this, but
I hope it does.
I could never trust him
Do you not,
again.
like-
I'm a strict babe.
Let's talk a bit about mental health.
I think at one point in time, I realized I had disordered eating. If I eat this item, I don't have to go run for 30 minutes. A couple days ago, a kid said he tried to touch him in the bath, and I'm just like, damn.
Kevin Hart, damn.
Uni was a big distraction. And then uni was ending, and then the distraction is going. And then you're stuck with yourself. Art started to become like therapy.
Positive talk. A lot of people talk about like your inner child, and sometimes you have to speak directly because that might be the person that's hurting for real. You have to address them as the adults in the situation and just be like, hey, I know this is tough, but like that thing you are saying, I don't like to hear that one. Like,
One of the biggest lessons I've learned is whether people hate you or love you, it's the same thing because they don't really know you.
I'm like standing at my doorstep
Yeah.
at this point. He walks onto my driveway, and I'm like, he's like, "You're that girl from Instagram, right?"
When was the moment they are like, wow, not everyone lives like me, or not
Yeah.
everyone like behaves the way I do?
I don't know. I feel like maybe the first time I went to Nigeria.
What would it be like if you just went 1 year full throttle? Like you just go like
You just go ham for a
just
year.
go ham for a year. Like
Would you label it as fluid?
not fluid. I would say maybe more gay. If we're talking about like sexual orientation, yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question.
That is a good question. That's a good question.
Good question.
That is a good question.
It's a good question. I actually feel like that's a good question. Oh, that's a good question. Good question.
That is a good question.
Good question, too.